So I want to make a post about how using ChatGPT for Google search is an extremely high risk activity right now. And here's the gist of it. So right now, if you use ChatGPT to generate content for your website, you can, and it will rank. And it will rank quickly. But it's black hat, and it will not be a good idea for the long term. You'll probably end up getting penalized. And here's why I think that. So currently, John Mueller's saying not to do that, right? And currently, there's all this buzz around how Google searches are not as good as they once were. A lot of people are complaining about the quality of how long it takes to do a Google search, and a lot of people are going to alternatives like Reddit, right? And a lot of people are going to other places like Instagram or TikTok. And so, the long story short of all this is that we have examples in the past where Google has basically made something black hat because it threatens the search engine's existence and what had happened in those cases. So the first example is the Penguin algorithm. So basically, people used to buy links, and these shitty links would give them a higher spot on Google. And for a while, it was not punished. People could just do it, and they'd shoot up on rankings, and that was kind of like how it was done, and it became common practice. Whereas if you didn't do it, you wouldn't be competitive. And that's the way ChatGPT content is becoming at the moment. A lot of sites are doing it and popping up out of nowhere, and if you don't do it, you're not competitive. Now the thing is, ChatGPT just released a thing where you can actually run text through it to see if it comes from ChatGPT, and if another AI likely generated it, and like professors are using it. But you have to imagine that Google's going to use that too. Now Google has already said that ChatGPT content is not allowed on their site, and the reason why is not only is it wrong often, but it also tends to plagiarize. It will take things from sources and it won't cite its sources. So it's a huge legal liability for Google. And the third reason is it makes Google's results shittier. So in the past, for the Penguin links, when people were buying links, it made shitty results and it made things pop up, and like they were having sites that were like selling Viagra popping up and sites that were selling bad medical advice popping up, and it was a liability for Google. So Google came up with the Penguin audit, and the Penguin audit caused it to punish the sites that had abnormal link activity, and as a result, they'd be taken out. And now the same thing happened with Panda. So Panda was a copied content because people kept stealing content from other websites, and it's like, how will Google know? Well, Google figured it out, and they started taking out these sites that would have stolen content, the Panda sites. And so the long story short is, this is the same kind of thing, and I could see a very similar solution applying. So people who use ChatGPT, you might see permanent domain damage. Like your domain, like people who used link schemes to pop their site up, and people who stole content to prop their site up, they would get banned, and their domain would get banned, and it's like they'd never rank again. And there are things you can do where your domain just gets banned, and that's the end of that. So the thing is, if you are, doing things that Google has expressly forbidden, there is a chance, and a high chance, that in the future, your site will get completely banned. And I've seen it happen to companies before where they do something very bad and then poof, like a light switch. Their revenue is gone and they're dead. So I would really strongly avoid, like at least for the time being, like there is a high gain temporarily for using ChatGPT generated content, but I would wait a few months and see if Google cracks down on it, because I have a strong feeling they will. They just brought back their founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, from retirement, and the two of them were brought back under what they call a code red. And so the significance of all that is that they're developing their own AI, but there's all this legal liability that, like, hey, guess what? You're stealing content and someone could sue Google. And there's all this legal liability like, oh, guess what? These sites that have nothing to do with it can pop up and cause problems, and then Google search is shittier. So it's like, I would bet, based on history and based on how Google's acted in the past and the fact that they've already said this is not allowed technology, that one day they're just going to have an update, and all the people who are using ChatGPT will find themselves banned. At least if I were you, if you are going to use ChatGPT, I would not use it on your main domain. Maybe make another domain that you can throw away more easily, that somehow you can hide its association with you, because there might be hell to pay in a very short period of time.